Well, you're the only one on the call, so welcome.
Thanks, Elaine. Let's see.
How are you?
Maybe some people will join in a few minutes. No, it's possible.
I don't know. I don't know. It's all very raw in the UK just now.
Yeah, it's tricky.
Are
Yeah,
you in
when it all begins, it's a little hectic.
Are you in Barcelona or Madrid?
Madrid.
Madrid.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're just still very raw and kind of recalibrating what this new normal is, because it was only last night that it was announced a bit of a lockdown.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah,
So,
because I knew schools were canceled, but I didn't know that. So, can you leave your house, or what's the?
so the rule is that you can leave your house for once a day to do some exercise,
Oh, wow, that's nice.
cycling,
We
running,
don't have that.
or walking. And you
Uh-huh.
can leave the house to get emergency provisions, and if you can
Uh-huh.
work. So I guess it's not a full lockdown, but it feels like it.
Yeah.
What's it like for you?
Well, my kids haven't left the house, like left our two-bedroom apartment in 11 days.
Wow.
Yeah, so they're kind of going crazy
Wow.
because they're not supposed to, only one person is supposed to go out at a time, and you can go out for groceries, emergency medical supplies, or pharmacy, work, or go to a doctor's, emergency medical reason. But you can't go out for exercise. And since you're not supposed to go, only one person's supposed to go at a time. You can't just let your kids. I mean, they're too young to go out by themselves. So,
Wow.
and also there's yeah, so it's kind of crazy.
And how long is
Yeah,
that
we've been trying.
how long is that predicted to
How
go on
long is it
for?
supposed to? Well, it was originally 15 days, and they've just extended another 15. So it's a whole month, I guess, in total at the moment. Um, so it's tough because my kids, like, they run the whole way to school usually, and then they have recess, they have physical education, and then they've got recess at lunchtime, and then after school they have basketball, and they run all the way home. So it's been really hard to get enough exercise for them. Really, that's
So
the most
what did they
challenging
ask?
part, actually, is
What
like
are they
we
asking? Are they asking any questions, Alison? Do they understand what's happening?
Yeah, well, the older ones, I've got, 8, 5, and 3 years old, or almost 4 is the youngest. And so the older one understands to some more extent, so that if they go out, that they could get sick or make other people sick. And so they kind of understand. The younger one is every day he's like, every day he asks me if there's school today, or if it's his birthday,
Oh,
or um, he also says, like, I heard him say to my middle child, I don't have coronavirus. My tummy doesn't hurt.
mm.
And then the middle child said, well, it's possible you have it, you just don't realize it, which I thought was very smart, actually. like, um, because yeah, I mean, it is possible, but hopefully not. But
And how
um,
are they coping? Are there tears, tantrums? Are they cooperative? Are you surprised at what's happening? What's the atmosphere?
well, there's a kind of a mix of everything during the day. So sometimes they're cooperative and surprisingly nice. Like they've been, like, the youngest and the younger one, and the middle one have been playing really nicely sometimes together. But then other times, like, the younger one is biting everybody. So just like when he gets mad, he like even bites me. It's like, oh.
Mm.
So that, and they do, yeah, yeah. There's times when it just all
Pear
goes to
shaped.
hell, and they just hit each other and hurt each other and start crying and everything. So
I mean, I think it is quite extraordinary, and I think personally, I'm still trying to process and just acknowledge what's happening, and I haven't quite accepted it yet. So if
yeah.
I'm an adult with all my wisdom and experience, and I'm struggling to process what's happened to us yesterday, I can assure you the children. will also be struggling to process. But I
Yeah.
guess in the midst of all this, what I'm experiencing is that I think in the face of adversity, often extraordinary things happen.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I don't know whether you found that, or whether the children have, really, because everyone's out of their comfort zone. And I think this is a time where we need to kind of focus on some of the positives that are going to come out of this. And my theory is that this is the world telling us all to slow down.
Yeah, definitely. Because like I found that like usually like I'm so running around, like I have to, take them to
Sure.
school, and then I've tried to get everything done in between picking them up from school, and then like I'm there after school playing out in the playground with them, and then getting home and then getting dinner on the table, and like getting them to bed, and it's really rush, rush, rush. Yeah, like, and so like I've been sort of just started taking advantage this week of trying to get them to learn how to do more chores since we've got the
Brilliant.
time. And we're
Brilliant.
all here.
Yes.
So that is one thing I'm trying to do, is like, well, I'm just going to take advantage of this because
Yes.
so
I love that, because I think this is a catalyst for change. I think we're now off the kind of hamster wheel, which you've described beautifully. And I think
yeah,
although we are in shock and there's lots of, turmoil going on, actually what's really important is that we change all our feelings into actions. And I was just talking to a client last night about the importance of having an EFM, which is an
what's that?
emergency family meeting.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That's a
Yeah.
good, yeah.
You're kind of you're. I'm not quite sure whether you're in an emergency, but a lot of us in the UK are definitely in that state of, wow, what's happened today. And
Yeah.
have you ever had a family meeting? Because that's a wonderful thing to kind of start to just involve the children in what the day should look like.
Yeah, we haven't had since this started, but because like I find it hard because every time we start, I try to talk to them about stuff, they just like all start talking, and then it's like they don't listen to me, and it's just like, oh, I'm talking to like. So I think it would be good. We have had family meetings in the
Okay.
past, just not on a regular basis, but it would be something good to do in a regular thing.
Mm,
One thing I wanted to do, which hasn't quite worked out, was kind of like at the end of the day, kind of say like, one thing that we did today that we enjoyed, just to
okay.
kind of keep it positive. And I made this thing like this always seems to happen to me. I try to like make these like things, and then they always like either like they don't get quite the idea, or they destroy it, and I just like, and it's just like all this effort. It's just like, oh, but I
That's
made this kind of
disappointing.
like I had this card, like a poster board kind of thing, and I cut it to look like kind of like a bucket, and because I think maybe Kelly actually put this on her website, to somebody recommended that you like kind of try to fill your bucket with positive things, no, like, and so I was doing that for each day. We, trying to remember one good thing we did a day, and put it like a little circle, and write it down and put it in the bucket, so we could
And was it a
kind of, it's kind of,
physical bucket? Is it a physical bucket, like a jar?
well, I made it out of cardboard.
Okay.
Yeah. Or cardstock, whatever. And I was gonna hang it on the wall, and it's like in process. So so just to kind of have a reminder of the things we're doing each day, and that there is one, at least there's one fun thing that
I
we
love that
did.
idea. And what did they do with the bucket on the wall?
Well, I haven't hung it up yet, so it's it's in process. So I had them each like draw things too, and so my oldest son and my middle child kind of got the idea. The younger one just
Yeah.
scribbled, which is fine.
I, I think
Um,
I think they're two fantastic ideas, and I think that what I intended, and I'd love your thoughts, is in these calls where we check in. Is I intended to kind of just give some top tips from each module. I know you've probably been through the course, the 10-week online parenting academy, but I thought I'd just go into each module and just give you a couple of top tips and pointers as a refresher. And then I thought we'd end
that'd
each
be
call
great. Yeah.
with a couple of top tips. But you've already given me a great top tip, which is a gratitude card. And I love that idea, just to finish the end of each day just with a celebration of something to be grateful for, because this is when
Yeah.
we really do need to look for the positives, because we need to turn all these feelings we've got into actions. And I love that idea of having an action of writing what you're grateful for. Now, whether it's up on the wall, and I like the idea of a bucket, or whether it's a jar with
Yeah,
postcards
yeah.
in, that you can,
That works
that
too,
they
yeah.
may not destroy, because anything up on the wall with your littlies, they may pull it down.
I know.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating. It's like, oh man.
So just like, so whether you just take the pictures they've done and pop them in a glass jar, that could be an idea.
Yeah,
But I think it's
yeah, yeah.
wonderful to end the day with just a little sense of what can we be grateful for? Are we grateful for the sun shining? Are we grateful for having a game with daddy that we don't usually play?
Yeah, yeah.
And what have the children found that they're grateful for?
Well, they let's see. One of them, my middle child put, watching the movie, the second Incredibles movie. um,
He doesn't
and
usually get to do that.
No, but he was really happy about it.
Yeah.
We've watched it a few times now because we borrowed it from the library, and the library's closed, so we can't take it back. But so it's like we're gonna have it for a long-term loan. And let's see, my eldest child, yeah, he wrote. Let's see, what did he write? Like when we did a costume party, we sort of put costumes on and danced around. He put
Oh,
that
that's so
down on the,
lovely.
yeah, and he also did this. This wasn't actually technically for the jar because there was a magician in Spain that did a live magic show for kids on Saturday on YouTube at 7. It was like at 7 o'clock, and like 100,000 people joined in. Like, and it was like, this is like a musician, I think, that's used to like maybe 50 people coming to his shows, because he was like kind of blown away. And but he
100,000.
yeah, yeah, because no one has anything to do. And
Right.
so he had the kids write on cards, 4 things that made them happy, and then they did a magic trick with it. And my son wrote, it was really sweet. I took a picture because he wrote, "My brothers make me happy," which I was surprised. I was like,
That's
and my
amazing,
mom,
Alison. Given all the
yeah,
sibling
yeah.
stuff that goes on.
Yeah, yeah. He wrote my mom and dad, my friends, and then he wrote like one toy that he likes a lot.
Oh,
So, but it was
I
sweet. Yeah.
absolutely love that. So that is one concrete idea that parents can take away, is to try and finish the day on a positive note. Know what's happened, to teach the children a sense of gratitude and what we should be grateful for. And then the second top tip I've got is just to send an invite to that. Your kids are very young, but keep trying with that extraordinary family meeting. And
Yeah, yeah,
it's
definitely.
always nice to design a little invite. Yeah, you are invited to
Yeah,
an EFM. They won't have a clue what that is. A family
yeah, yeah.
meeting, place, kitchen table, time, Friday, 9 o'clock. Dress code, pajamas.
Yeah.
Menu, well, I don't know what food you can get over there or how creative you can be, whether it's soldiers and boiled egg and soldiers, or whether you can rustle up a croissant. I don't know what food supplies are like. Um, and kind of try and get a structure, I think. And have you got a timetable going over the 11 days, or what the children do?
Well, we're just getting that down because it's been a little kind of haphazard. But in the morning, yeah, we get up and we do like our routine is as if we were going to go to school. Like, so we eat breakfast and get dressed and brush our teeth and make our beds. And then we call it colegio en casa, like school at home. And so um, my my middle child is learning to read, so he has some like sheets to practice reading on his own, and or we can do it with him too. And then my eldest does some quiet reading, and then he's got some. My eldest is actually has books and has homework to do, and then they just started something here, which is like a television broadcast with school, and so every like age group, like from 6 to 8, 8 years old, 6 to 8 years old, is from 9 to 10 every morning on the kids channel on television.
Hmm.
They have a different subject each day, like math was yesterday, today was social sciences. And so then, yeah, my eldest is not almost 8, so he was in the 8 to 10 slot at 10 o'clock. And so we yesterday was so like it was like math for like an hour with not interactive at all. And it was just kind of like I was like
Too dull.
that's not quite, but today was more, the social science was better. I'm just going to plug in my computer because it was more like stories, you know, I said about the Romans and and about the Greeks and different things like that. So that was more kind of like got him interested more. So
Great.
we watched that, and then we did some physical education after that.
Excellent.
And so
You
that's
sound
been,
like you've got a really nice structure to the day.
yeah. And then we did We Love Our House, and so We Love Our House is like the chores. so
Oh, that's so nice.
yeah, so we're
I'm going to take a note of that. We love our house. And so what chores are the boys doing?
well, I wouldn't say they're not. What we did is we pick a different room each day, and then in each room, like so today we did the living room, and I took this from my youngest child's teacher. They have like little stations that they do during the the day, and when they're in the station, they get a little medal with the picture of the station on it. So I made 3 medals. One was vacuuming. So the person that has the medal on it gets to vacuum, because I find that they're better at that than sweeping. Sweeping is really bad. So like just make a mess, but vacuum actually works. They actually,
They
and the
love
other
it.
one is dusting. And then the other medal is actually like spraying down the floor by the toilet and mopping it, because they're boys and they tend to make a bit of a mess. So,
And are they doing this? Are they doing this with joy?
Somewhat. I mean, they like it. They have a pretty short attention span with it. So we just started this week with that. So,
Alison, you know what? This call has been so helpful because I'll post this in the group, because you are almost 2 weeks ahead of the UK people.
yeah,
it's so good to see you 11 days on, kind of surviving.
Yeah.
And with some great ideas with your gratitude jar, with your EFM, and your household chores. It's really impressive.
Oh, thanks. We're hanging in there. Yeah.
You're so creative.
I just kind of copied them from somebody. Like it wasn't really my idea, so I can't really take credit. But
is there anything I can help you with or answer? Because part of this Tuesday talk time is just for me also to offer some advice if you want it, or any hotspot areas.
Yeah, I guess with my eldest, let's see, what's the thing about it is, well, we've had trouble since he was small, like about like focusing, like when he's getting dressed, for example, in the morning, like I can't just say go in your room and get dressed and expect him to do it. And he's 8 years old. Yeah, like he'll like start taking off his pants and then start reading, or he'll find a toy, like anything he can find, like. And so I almost have to put him in the hall where there's nothing, but even then he wanders. And I just feel like I'm going insane. So I don't know if there's anything you can recommend for.
How old is he now? Is he 5?
No, this is the 8-year-old.
He's 8.
Yeah.
This has been going on for years, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah, we're going to have an evaluation once doctors are back. But yeah.
I remember you because you were one of the first Academy members, and we spoke about this a long time ago. Does he do the same behavior at school?
He's very distracted at school too. Yeah.
So this behavior is not. It doesn't discriminate. So it sounds to me as if this is him really not being a problem, but having a problem.
Yeah, I think he really does.
Yeah, and I know how hard you've tried with the parenting skills. So if he is truly, really distractible, and unfortunately it means that he is having a problem. He loses focus. He's probably got a very short-term memory. I don't know whether that's true or not. Maybe his speed of processing is not great either. And for practical family purposes, it means that as a parent, you can't yet, and I use the word yet because he will get there, but you can't yet give him an instruction to get dressed, leave the room, and expect him to do it. It's just an unrealistic expectation. And I know part of you may be saying, oh my goodness, he's 8 now. And often parents say, oh my goodness, he should by now be able to do it. And actually, there's no shoulds about it, because all I want you to do is say to yourself, what's his name again?
Diego.
Just say to yourself, Diego hasn't yet got into the habit and behavior of being able to dress himself completely within a short time frame.
Yeah.
It looks to me as if he still needs my support. He needs empathy, because actually he's really struggling in an area. He does get distractible. So there's 2 things that I can give you, and you may not like the first one, which is that your job is to teach and train him into these habits. And actually, if you're training, the presence of the trainer is needed, which means that it's absolutely hopeless you giving him an instruction, leaving the room, coming back and expect him to have got dressed. He just won't be able to do it. And so that expectation, if it's unrealistic, we say it's a resentment waiting to happen. You will get resentful because you'll get cross, you'll get irritated that he's not dressed yet. So we have to take a few steps back, Alison, and just think, we actually do need to be the trainer. We need to be there and encouraging him every step of the way for all the things. We don't need to get him dressed, because he can get himself dressed. He just needs to be focused.
Right.
And the language you're going to use to focus him, I'm afraid, is that descriptive praise. You need to be there every step of the way, just monitoring him, praising him. And the second idea you had, which is great, is definitely having him in an area where there's least distraction. Because if he's in his bedroom, you can put money on it that he's going to play with a toy or read a book or get distracted.
Right.
And the third thing to say is, I think given the history and the awareness I've got of how hard you've used the skills, I would be looking to get an educational psychology report done.
I did have that done actually a couple of years ago. So we had that. Well, they first they found that he was very high learning potential. Like he's doesn't have any problem with that. But he had some like fine motor skill limitations.
Okay.
And yeah, that was like the gist of it. It was like a 20-page report, but I can't remember exactly. But then we've started working with an occupational therapist recently, a child's occupational therapist on like kind of gross motor skills and fine motor skills and more concentration stuff.
Has that helped at all?
It has helped a bit, yeah, but we've only just begun, and now we can't do it. Yeah. Bummer.
And when you said you may get another assessment, what would be another assessment for?
Well, the occupational therapist recommended, like, here they have like pediatric neurologists that do assessments, and he recommended that. And I don't exactly know what that would be an assessment of, but I kind of think maybe autism. I don't know. This the kind of what he was getting at. So
Alison, I would pursue having a neurological assessment. Because if there is any signs of attention deficit or anything like that, we do need to know about it in order to help him at school. Someone's joined us. We're about to finish, so that's fine. We're about to finish.
Dario.
Hey, is that Diego?
This is Dario, my almost 4-year-old. He'll be 4 in 1 month.
Who are you? I'm not a magician. I'm not.
Oh yeah, he's winning it out. He's gonna be 4.
I'm not a magician, but I can give you a kind of thumbs up.
Yeah, you're almost 4. Yeah.
You're almost 4. I'm going to say goodbye to your mummy, but just to finish off here, Alison, I would get that assessment done, because the more understanding we have about the cognitive profile of our child, the easier it is for us to help them.
Okay. Okay, more. Can you repeat that? Sorry.
I think we're going to call off, but so nice talking to you, and hopefully we'll see you next Tuesday. Any questions, just pop them in the group, Alison.
Okay, thanks so much, Elaine. All
Take
right,
care.
bye. Bye, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.